Welcome back!
Welcome. I'm Jo'Van.
And I'm Brandice.
And this is our brand new show called
Closing the Gap.
We're so excited that you decided to tune in today. You're probably wondering, why is our show called Closing the Gap? Well, there's a lot of information out there. It's hard to determine what's true,
what's false,
what's meaningful,
and what will truly feed your soul. We want to create a platform, a safe space for young adults to discuss everyday issues, but with a godly perspective. If you have questions, we have answers.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
And don't forget to like and subscribe. Speaking of subscribers, we had a giveaway for one of our lucky subscribers and commenters and all this other good stuff. You also had to do the random act of kindness. So some people who did all 3 or 4, we put your name multiple times in there. So without further ado, we are going to pull that name and see who wins that $50 gift card. Can you shake it up for me? It's interesting. Alrighty. The lucky winner. Uh-oh. I have a couple people. Let me do that again because I saw a name I don't want to be.
It's me.
Jo'Van. Just kidding. No, it's not Jo'Van.
Give me my money.
It is, a dear friend of mine, Cicely McElrath. Woohoo! Claim your prize, girl.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Cicely. And thanks for supporting us.
Yes, thank you for your support. Even though you took my money, we still appreciate you.
His name was not in the drawing.
Yeah, congratulations again. So, for today's entertainment, I'm very excited. Very excited. Where should I start?
I know what he's about to bring up, and I'm just like,
So, our beloved Derek Jackson, yeah, he's had a rough week, right? No, when I say beloved, I'm totally joking. Dude's messing up. But what is your opinion of the whole Derek Jackson situation?
A hot mess. That's what I think. It's a hot mess. First of all, I was never one of those people who followed him religiously. I watched a video too. I won't lie, but I was never like, oh yes, he's telling the truth. He's spilling all the facts. No, it's just who are you? First of all, I didn't even know he was married. So in my head, I'm like, who are you to spill out these gems? So it's where are you getting your I don't know. I was just like, who are you? That was my thing. Who are you, dude? Who are you, Derek Jackson?
So, in the content that you saw before all this come out, did you feel like he gave good advice?
Sometimes, but again, I guess my thing is I felt like it was just a random guy just spilling out his thoughts. It's just what grounds you didn't go to? I don't know. I'm just I'm legit who are you?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, we definitely know who he is now. I'm not gonna say trash.
He is.
But because obviously
I won't say that. I should take that back. That wasn't nice.
Yeah, okay. We're not gonna say that. But I was personally offended by to hear about what he was really doing after he was, because it's I get no one's perfect, but the fact that he was bashing men for doing the same stuff that he's been doing, and I don't know if you've ever seen his videos, but when he goes in on men, it's crazy how hard he goes. So to see him be doing the exact opposite of what he's preaching, for not just once, but over the course of time, it's just wow. Because if he was at least in the videos, if your man's because this is the thing, he wasn't really offering guys any type of grace or anything, but he wants that from his wife.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So it's just so everyone else can be held to a different standard than you because you're this perfect guy and you're actually a good person, but all these other guys, they're trash, and that's where I was just kind of got what he got what he had coming essentially for me, but I don't know.
Did you see the memes or something that people were saying he did all his videos in the car, so he's
yeah. I saw one where it was they said on one of the videos in the background was one of the girls' houses that he was the girls he was fooling around with.
Oh my gosh.
I was just like, because even I think one of the girls came out and said, "Yeah, that's my house right there."
Are you serious?
Right, but he's in the car saying, "If your man's cheating on you, he's trash. Don't talk to him ever again." Blah blah blah. And I'm just like,
clearly there's something deep going on with him because it's like again, who are you? And why do you spell your life that way? Like, why did you think it was a cool way to spell Jackson? Whatever.
Yeah.
But like, why did you think that it was okay for you to be doing what you're doing for all these years? And what grounds did you think you had to preach all these things to men or say they're doing wrong and whatever? But here you are doing the same thing. Hello, pot.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, it was horrible.
The Christian side of me knows. I'm like, okay, he's another human being, so I'm gonna give him grace. But the other side of me is like, I'm enjoying watching this guy, like, go through this. Maybe that's wrong, but I just felt like, because I remember when I was going through my breakup, and I don't know, YouTube just knows everything, right? So I'm starting to get into his algorithm, and he's like looking at all this stuff, and he's just like, "This is why you suck. This is why you suck. This is why you suck." Talking about, this is Derek Jackson, and I'm just like, wow. I'm like, wow. And turns out, like, he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have I wasn't doing what he was doing, but he has videos about everything that a man can do wrong. And it's just
so
like,
you took it personal.
Yeah, I took it personal when he was, being disingenuous. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't being transparent. So I'm just like, okay, but I think it did teach a lesson. It's like, you can't just listen to what people say. You have to take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Everything. Because like you said, who is this person and why should I listen to him?
Yeah.
But you go into those comments, and a lot of people were agreeing with what he was saying, like back before all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, see, this is how men should be and all that stuff. And I'm just like, yo, man, it's not real. Everything is not real.
It's not what you seem. Like people be like screaming relationship goals, and then all this stuff fall out.
So,
just like, ugh. A lot of people didn't even know he was married. That was the biggest thing. Like, did you know he was married?
Yeah, I mean, he put that on, like, that was on his Instagram.
Okay.
That's been on his Instagram.
Okay, so I don't really follow him
I
like
think
that.
he's
So I
been
was
married
like,
for 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
but he's been with that girl for over like 10.
Oh yeah. Now I've seen pictures of like through college and stuff. And I'm like,
So and I just want to say, like, it's not about messing up. Like, if you don't know what caused someone to do the things that they did. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you have to have grace. But don't
be a hypocrite.
Don't be a hypocrite. Don't tell people, like, don't do this, but you're out there doing it, and you're not even trying to. You're not really trying to stop. I don't believe you are if it's cheating and it's over a course of years.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe you're actually trying to stop.
Right. And like I said, I was talking to Jo'Van about this earlier. Maybe I'm just being too nice, but in my head, I'm thinking maybe he had like some deep rooted issues that clearly that he hasn't addressed. And that's why he keeps doing, causing hurt to his wife, himself, in the relationship. So the fact that she stayed, I'm hoping and praying that he's legit getting professional help to work on those issues that he has. Because there's something there. Like, I don't know, in my head, that's my opinion. There's something there that's causing him to keep doing that. Like, some people are horrible people and just like don't care. I hope and pray that is not the case for him, and that he has like these like things that he needs to work out, and for her sake, that he actually is getting the help and doing the process to heal.
I agree. I hope he's doing the same thing, and I hope he understands that, like, his videos, his content has had real life effects on a lot of different people, like, negatively. So, I mean, that's all. That's the last thing. I know we could go on and on about that, but I just want to say, like, you gotta be mindful of how what you're putting out there is going to affect other people.
Yeah, definitely. And especially if you know you're doing the complete opposite, it's going to come out, people. Yeah. So don't try it at all.
And this is the other thing. Like, we all want grace, right? When we mess up, we all want grace. That part. The other thing for me is, like, he wasn't showing all those guys grace when he was making videos trashing them. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't showing grace, but now he wants the grace.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like, bro, like, you can't do that, man.
Nah.
So.
Let us know in the comments what you guys thought about the whole situation. And if you saw the video what he did with his wife, what you guys thought about that.
That's a whole nother thing, right? Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, we can go on about this all the time, all day long. But today is Women's Day! Woo! See my shirt? Empowered women.
Yes.
Empower women.
Most definitely.
How do you feel about Women's Day, Jo'Van?
I love Women's Day. I was born on Women's Day, March 8th. So, but yeah, no, I love that we take out a time to like really be mindful of women and empowering them and listening to them. I think that's a big part of Women's Month. It's like highlighting those issues that women face on a day-to-day basis, whether it be just like in the workforce, relationships, or just walking down the street, because that's a whole thing, for women that, as a guy, I realize that I have a privilege. I have privilege in certain ways that I don't have to think about. So it's good that we have Women's Month so we can be confronted by those things. You know what I'm saying? So we can be more mindful. So, yeah. Okay. So Brandice, talk to us a little bit about like the workforce and discrimination and inequality when it comes to being a woman and being in that environment.
Oh, there's a lot. First thing is like the being heard or having your opinion taken seriously. A lot of times in the big corporate jobs, they're like, okay, thank you, and then get another opinion from another man, and it's like, well, I said the same thing, but you didn't like value my just because I'm a woman. So it's just that being heard or having a seat at the table. A lot of times it's a whole men's meeting. You don't even know what's going on, or there's a lot of things. So there's a lot of changes that have been made, but I think we still have a lot of work to do as far as like getting women's opinion, or actually even having a seat at the table, or in those secret men's society, whatever. So there's just a lot of work to do on that aspect. And then, of course, the thing that's been going on is the wage gap. It's huge. I mean, I have stats on that based on like different states that have, or in cities that have a huger gap, and then based on race, like where it falls into. So when I was looking at it, I mean, of course, I already knew that was a thing, but when I saw it broken down, it was just like mind blowing. It's like, oh, we have a lot of work. Especially, I mean, I think if you're doing the exact same job as a man, and the same exact job, then it should be an equal pay.
Right.
Because a lot of times, with women doing the same exact jobs, they're expected to do more, go over beyond, and we're not getting paid the same.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing that needs to be really changed immediately.
Right. So whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a man or a woman, you should get paid the same thing.
You're doing the same,
simple.
That part,
You know what I'm saying?
You're putting the same out. Like, why am I getting paid 30, 40, 50% less than you just because of my gender?
Yeah, that's something I just don't understand. Like, I genuinely don't understand why people do that. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Because they're people. It doesn't matter, like,
We have great ideas. I mean, women, we get the job done. So, I mean, and the thing is, you have to respect the different things that women and men bring to the table. And if you put us together and like all of that, it will be a magical thing, because there's some things that men bring to the table that is great. But there's also great things that women bring to the table. If you're excluding that, you're closing yourself out from a whole array of like success or like ideas and new things that could come to play just from that woman's perspective or things of that nature. So yeah. So I did want to highlight some of the differences. So I did the top 5 cities that had the highest wage gap. So Detroit, Michigan, so 26.2. St. Louis, Missouri, 24.6.
That's $24,600?
No, percentage of the gap. Seattle, Washington was 22.6. And then Denver and Houston was tied for 20.1. So there's that. And also just a little fun fact, based on race. and this is all compared to a non-Hispanic white man. So Asian women is up next with making up to 91% of what they would bring home. Next would be white women, up to 78% of what the man makes. Then Black women, only 61%. And then you have Hispanic or Latina women with 53%.
So is that based on like, so when you say Asian women is 91%, is that ranked against Asian men or all?
No, this study was all based on non-Hispanic white men. So that was just that study.
Got it.
So just want to be clear on that.
Got it. Okay.
So it's so
yeah,
it's a lot of work we got to do, especially the Hispanic and Latina and the Black women. That's a huge gap.
And I feel like we're headed in the right direction.
Though. We are. I mean, there's progress. I won't say like we're in the Stone Ages by no means, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so,
there's a lot of work to be done. But
this was done in 2019, so it's not something that's been old or I think. Sorry, it's not something that's outdated. This is 2019 report, so pre-COVID, but still a lot of work to be done. Please let us know in the comments what you guys think about the wage gap and some other discriminations women face in the workplace that we haven't discussed. So let us know. We would love to have this conversation continue.
Talk to me a little bit about like what it's like being just as far as like your safety, and that may sound kind of broad, but here's an example, right?
I knew exactly where you're going.
You know what I'm saying? You're walking to your car after work, and it's winter, so it's darker than usual. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's 5 or whatever. Do you feel unsafe?
I won't use myself because I do work in a smaller building, but in a scheme of like a Walmart, Target, or wherever I am, yes. Right. I'm very aware. I have my keys in my hand immediately. And I'm always holding the alarm button, and I'm always have my phone handy. I make sure I'm alert. I'm not like distracted by texting or on the phone, whatever the case may be. I'm also very aware of where I'm parking. Like I'm not parking to any kind of like sketchy cars, vans, or anything that somebody can like snatch me up really fast. So if somebody's being really sketchy, I'm like, might go along another way I won't go directly to my car. I might go down another aisle or something of that nature, might go back into the store. There's a lot of things that we think about as women about safety, especially a simple errand going to the store. Like I don't know. It's just like, I don't think men have to think about all of those scenarios. Like you go to the mall, like, oh, I'm just texting and go, whatever. But it's a lot of things that we have to consider when we're just doing simple errands, whether it's especially at night. I mean, all the time, because you're always on alert. Like, who is this person? What are they doing? It's just like a whole list of things that go through your mind, especially when you're alone and you're a woman and just in a different environment.
Meanwhile, I'm parking in the back of the parking lot on my phone playing the games, walking, not even thinking about nothing.
Immediately locking my doors, like, no, it's none of that.
Wow, that's definitely a more of a women's struggle. 100%. I mean, and plus, there's so many in the news. There's so many crazy things happening to young ladies. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely stressful.
Yeah, it is. It can be scary, especially when you're out at night. And they could be minding their business, but they have a hood up, and you're like, "What's going on?" So it's just little things you have to think about, especially when you're a woman, and just going out at night and just be cautious. A lot of people have pepper spray. Have a knife. My mom always tells me that knife is not going to get you have to dig for it. So yeah, there's a lot of things we have to think about. For our safety.
Quick question: do you feel like, if you ever felt like you needed to coddle the male ego?
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Because I just feel like, I just feel like y'all's egos are so like, it's like fragile. and it's just like you do or say the wrong thing, and it's just like you're so offended or so hurt, and it's just like, but as a woman, we're expected to take so much stuff, and it's like if you um, had to deal with half the stuff we deal with, just not, I'm not in relationships and just like dealing with not even like discrimination, all that stuff, you wouldn't survive.
Interesting.
That's my opinion.
Wow. Okay. I would love. Can you think of an example of like something that a woman could easily deal with, but a man couldn't?
Speaking of earlier this topic, Derek Jackson, if the woman was cheating as much, that man wouldn't have been staying by her side. That's number one.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
I agree.
You would have been gone
I agree.
the moment. You wouldn't give explanation like, nope, deuces. That's a general statement because I know there are men who out there who have. So there's that. But for the majority, y'all are gone.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah. Do you agree, or like as far as the male ego goes, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've heard this several times, and specifically with the male ego, the woman feels like they need to coddle it in the sense of just safety. Like if they're approached on the street, and the man's like, "Hey, what's up, girl?"
Yeah. No, seriously. Like you don't want to offend because you never know how they're gonna react. Like exactly. Like, oh no, thank you. Our famous line, "I have a boyfriend," or whatever the case may be, because you never know if they're gonna flip. Like, there's been so many stories of that happening where you stand up for yourself and then that girl end up dying. I'm dead. So yeah, you always have to think of that. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then I also was wondering, like, you feel like you have to coddle the male ego in terms of like knowing their insecurities and stuff like that, and like that you can't just go at them like straight on, because as manly as they are, they can't handle like certain things, right?
Yeah.
So, but why, in that sense, why would you feel like you would need to coddle the male ego in that type of situation?
Because of the reaction, as far as like, I don't know. I don't want to say sensitive, but it's like, I don't know. I've had situations where I might say something goes very direct without thinking of you guys' feelings or ego, whatever the case may be, and it's just like you go totally left and just like shut it off or whatever. So it's like, as opposed to us, we're more forgiving or give you second chances. If like we come to you a certain way, it's like, oh, I'm not dealing with that. So I don't know. You're always like, it's okay. Do you want to? Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I don't know how to feel about that.
But seriously.
Wow. Interesting. That's a whole nother. That's
a whole
nother thing.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have to extend this. Okay. So the last thing I wanted to ask you is, like, who are some women that you see as powerful, or they're figures of women empowerment? Like who comes to mind, and who do you think of?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, there's a lot of powerful women out there. But the first, I'm going to do two. The first two, I mean, one, and it's not because I like her shows or anything that matter, is Shonda Rhimes. And it's just because she's always portraying a strong woman on TV. And it's always representation, and she's always thinking about how to change the narrative.
Right.
And it's for that I respect and I applaud her for always being conscious of making sure women are represented in a positive and a good light. The next one is Dolly Parton. Okay. Dolly is always advocating for women in social injustice in general. But I know she has a song called 9 to 5. Have you heard that?
I need to brush up on my Dolly Parton.
I think it was a movie as well. Anywho, maybe it was a movie and then she had a song in it. That's probably how it actually worked. But she's always advocating for like change and speaking up for what's Right. So for that, she's a powerful woman, always doing the right thing. So, I mean, a lot of people don't know that about Dolly, but she is a powerful woman, always speaking up for women and rights, social injustice, a lot of things. So, yeah.
Right. Okay.
And there's also some women in the Bible that very powerful.
Right.
Deborah, she was a judge. So you don't hear about a lot of like powerful women in the Bible, but she was a judge. You have Lydia, she was an entrepreneur. And then Esther, she like spoke up. She was brave. So there's a lot of powerful women out there. So let's continue that fight. Be powerful and courageous and brave and speak up. It's our time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. What about you?
There's this it's the girl on Blackish.
Tracy.
It's the young girl.
Marseille Martin.
Yeah, she wrote a whole movie. I think. What was that movie that Little.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. At that point she was the youngest producer that have a own producing company. And she just broke another record of being the youngest doing something else. And I'm like, girl, you are killing it.
She's killing it.
You are killing it.
I mean, she's a force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
For real. She's accomplished so much. So I feel like girls her age are looking at her like, man, like if she can do that, like I can do something too. So I definitely see her as an empowering figure.
Definitely.
Especially young.
Yeah. So if she's doing that now, I can only imagine what she's going to do in the future.
She hasn't even gotten started yet.
At all. Like, I think she's not even 16. She's not even able to drive.
Right. So I think her definitely. And then, of course, Oprah and like Beyonce and, those. But, and I admire them. But, like, what's her first name again? Marseille Martin. Like, I'm really proud to see what she's doing.
Yeah.
As at that age and as not only a woman, but a woman of color doing all that at that age. So I think that's great.
Yeah. There's a lot of powerful women. So just one more person. When you brought up Blackish, don't get me wrong, love me some Tracy Ellis Ross. But Yara Didi, that plays the older sister.
Oh, yeah.
She's doing some wonderful things too. And she's always speaking up for social injustice and things, and just to be so young and have a voice and not afraid to speak up, I think that speaks volumes. Because especially when she first started, she was probably in her teens, but she was always advocating for things that need to be changed. And when I was younger, I was like, oh, I don't want to say anything. You're afraid to speak up. But the fact that she was able to speak up is just, I admire that in her. So I hope that she continues to speak up and not afraid to speak her mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Yeah. Well, y'all tell us in the comments, like, who are some powerful women? Who do you see as examples of women empowerment as far as individuals go? So definitely share that with us in the comments. And yes, so thank y'all for joining us today for this episode. We appreciate you. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you next week.
Go women!